This is lesson 1 on page 1, manipulating images. In this lesson, you will combine pictures and text in a tightly integrated layout, adjust image appearance, and link to an online video. You have seen how styles and themes can change the look of your document. You can add images to your document to provide additional information and visual appeal. In this lesson, you will add and adjust images in your document. Adding images to your document can enhance its usefulness and visual appeal. The image should supplement your text rather than take away from it. So first on page 2, topic A, integrating pictures and text. Once you have resized an image and changed its appearance, you might want to change how the image integrates with the text on the page. Text wrapping enables you to control how the text wraps around the image. So here I have an image of some wildflowers. So we've seen how we can resize image pictures. We have our resizing handles in all 4 corners and top and bottom, right and left sides as well. And remember, I always suggest resizing by using one of the corner handles, because if you resize by using the side, you can see it becomes distorted. Resizing using one of the corners will help keep that aspect ratio into place, so it keeps the picture proportionate. So we have the resizing option there. You can also size to a specific size on your Picture Tools Format Contextual tab in your Size command group. Here you have your height and your width of the picture. So you can type directly into that field, or you can use your arrows to increase or decrease the size there. Now we also have the option to crop the image. So suppose I only wanted to focus on this little jumble of white wildflowers in the bottom right hand corner. I could crop the rest of the image out. On my Picture Tools Format Contextual tab in that size group, here I have the crop option. You have the button at the top and you have a crop drop down option. Now when you're using the drop down, you can crop to a specific shape if you want. First, I'm going to just choose the actual command button up top. And you can see you get these black handles, all 4 corners and all 4 sides. These are your crop handles. So I could bring this one down. Oops. I could bring this corner one down. I could bring the side one across. And you can see everything else is getting grayed out in the background, and the only thing that's coming through in color is what I chose to include here. Now, if I click anywhere outside of that picture, or I hit my crop button again, everything else is taken away from sight. It's actually still there, so I could bring it back if I wanted to, but it has been cropped out of your visual image of your document. If you want to bring that back into sight, just click on your picture, go back to that crop button, and then just resize it to include everything else again. Okay, so don't think it's gone for good there. You can bring it back into place. Now, like I said, from that drop down, you can also crop to a shape. I could do a heart here. Okay, so you have the option to crop to a rectangle, a square, any shape from that drop down. But your rectangle or square is the default when you choose that crop button. Now, last week or the week before, Word Part 1 or 2, we took a look at our text wrapping options. So remember, when you insert an image into your document, right now, if I choose my Layout Options button in the top right-hand corner, right now I'm in line with text. No text is wrapping around my image. You can see it's actually on the same line here. But you have the square option, so you can see that squares it out so it wraps around it. I can still move the image, but it'll be squared out on each side of it. And you also have the tight option. That brings it a little closer. Through option does about the same thing, but you can move the endpoint so it gets a little closer to your image. But all this transparent places around your image, the text will actually take up the space there. And you have your top and bottom. You have your behind text. So the text is actually displayed above your image. And then you have your in front of text, where the picture is actually hovering on top of the text. So you can't see what's behind it. And that's used for like different design purposes. I don't, if you've seen like t-shirt type things where they have an image up top, but they have different sayings kind of flowing in the background, use it for, stuff like that. There are different uses for it. So those are your text layout options. We also have, let me change this to square, bring that back to square. We also have on our format contextual tab, we have your position options. You have top left, top center. You can see as I hover over the options, shows you a live preview. Let me zoom out of my page here so you can see the whole thing. Then you have middle left, middle center, middle right, bottom left, bottom center, bottom right. So it'll give you an exact position there for your image. Now if I select the position drop down and go to more layout options, on your position tab here, you can actually choose an absolute position, a certain amount of inches to the right of your margin, to a column. Same for your vertical as well. So you always have these exact positioning options as well. These just give you the 9 different, general position options. But remember, you can always click and drag your image and place it exactly where you want as well. And you can see when I have it centered vertically on the page, you can see that little green line that pops up. That's an alignment guide. So you can align it with different images. You can align it to the margin. See that line that pops up there? That's aligning to the right margin, aligning to the left margin, aligning to the bottom margin. And look at that. I get a horizontal and vertical alignment. That's telling me that it's centered exactly on the page. Okay, so you can use all those different positioning options. Clicking and dragging, your position drop down, or your more layout options to get, a specific amount of inches. And again, use your alignment guides for help in positioning when you want to line different things up. Let me zoom back into my image here. When you have any type of image selected, we know we get our outside border with our sizing handles. We also get this circular arrow at the top. This is our rotation handle. I can click and drag this to the left and it will rotate the image. I can go all the way around if I wanted to. I can click and drag to the right, rotate it opposite direction. So that's your rotation handle. You also have the option in your Arrange command group. You have a drop down here to rotate to the right 90 degrees, rotate to the left 90 degrees. You can flip it vertically, so that's upside down, or you can flip it horizontally, so you can see everything's backwards from the original. Or if you want to rotate a specific amount of degrees, not 90 degrees, you can go to more rotation options, and here in your rotate section, you can choose to, maybe you only want to rotate it 15 degrees. Input that, click OK, and it'll take you to that exact positioning. But if you're just eyeballing it, you can just use the rotation handle. But if you want a specific amount of degrees, and it's not one of these to flip horizontal or to the right 90 degrees, go to your more rotation options. So that opens you to your layout dialog box on your size tab. Okay, I'm going to move down to my second image, which is the moon and stars here. Let's put this on square text wrapping as well. So you can see I have a moon and I have 5 stars. But I also have a black background for this image. Maybe for this image, I didn't want that black background. I actually wanted just the image of the moon and stars, and I wanted this purple background of my page background to shine through here. So I don't want to include the actual black background of this. I can choose to remove that. Now, just a warning, when you're removing backgrounds from your pictures, you want to stick with images that are not too busy. Don't have too many colors in them. You know, um, it's easier to remove a solid border than, things with trees and, the sky in the background of all different shades of blue. It's very difficult to remove those kinds of backgrounds. Solid backgrounds like this, very simple to remove. So just be aware of that as you're, working with that. But I'll show you how you would go about doing that. You just click your image on your Picture Tools Format Contextual tab in your Adjust command group. Here we have the Remove Background command. Now what happens, you can see first of all we get a background removal tab on our ribbon. Then our image kind of gets this purple mask above it, and we have an extra border inside of our image. Anything within this border, inside the border, the box border, that shows through in color, that is not purple, is going to be kept when you choose to remove the background. So if I click and drag this border to include the left side of this moon, right now the whole entire moon is going to be kept when I remove the background. But look at all my stars. They're showing in purple. That's telling me that they're going to be removed from the image when I click this Keep Changes option. I'm going to click and drag to make sure all of them are inside the border here. But you can see they're still showing in purple. Most of the time, Word, anything that is in here that's not the background, it will catch. But this is a good example of, times that you're going to have to take a few extra steps to indicate what you want to keep. So on this background removal tab, here we have mark areas to keep. My cursor changes to a little pencil. All I have to do, click and drag a small line through the part of it that you're trying to keep. Give it a second to update there. Look at that. Now it sees she wants to keep that shape in her image. Now it shines through in color. So I can do that to all of my stars. Just a little line on the inside of it. You can even do a dot and it will most likely catch all of it. Now, the opposite, if let's say there was something coming through in color that you didn't want to keep. You wanted it removed with your background. You have, sorry, my computer is acting a little crazy here. If there was something that was coming through in color that you didn't want to keep with your background, you have the mark areas to remove. And same idea, you just draw a line through it. And look at that, now it's showing in purple. You can see you have to make a few extra lines to say, yeah, I want to get rid of all of that. And then once you get your final product that you think you have everything you want to keep, everything that you want removed is shown in purple, then you can click on the Keep Changes option. And you can see I missed a little of the yellow star there. Everything else has been removed. So let me go back and try to get rid of all that. It's because I initially marked to keep it. You can see sometimes you got to make a few lines here. But again, that's only because I marked to keep it originally, so kind of confusing to the program. Good enough for now. All right, so you can see that black background has been removed. All the stars that I wanted to keep are there now. So now if I actually put the through text wrapping on this, look at that. The text is kind of weaving in and out of the empty spaces here. If I had done that with the black background, it would not go through that space. All right. All right.
Our next video will be activity 1-1 on page 8.